The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Good morning, America, or good night, depending on which level of the fever dream you're currently inhabiting. I'm Julian Archer, coming to you from the Panopticon high above Central Park. And look, I gotta say, the air up here is thin, but it is clear. I have my pure oxygen, I have my resolve, and I have the distinct pleasure of being joined by the man who single-handedly keeps the plaid shirt industry in business, Jonathan Steele.
Look, I'm just trying to survive the morning without my goat, Mitch, eating the satellite uplink cable. It's a busy day in the Catskills, Julian. The frost is thick, the news is thicker, and quite frankly, it's all just a bit much, isn't it?
Oh, spare me the pastoral melancholy, John. We have a big show today, a significant lineup, because the wheels of the 2026 midterms are officially turning, and the administrative state is acting like a rogue AI that's discovered it has a taste for human misery.
It's a packed episode, unfortunately. We've got the surveillance state expanding under Kristi Noem, the literal privatization of the moon, because why not, and a biological clock ticking for every man in America thanks to corporate negligence.
And we're gonna get into all of it. But first, look, we have to acknowledge yesterday. We spent a lot of time on Operation Epic Fury and the strikes in Iran. John, you were, shall we say, less than thrilled with the lack of congressional spine.
It was a horror show, Julian, a legislative wet noodle performance while the executive branch plays Risk with real lives. I'm still vibrating from that one. And the AI warfighter pivot we discussed, it's a retreat from human morality. We're outsourcing our souls to Silicon Valley code.
Well, the code is hitting the fan today, my friend. Let's dive in. John, you've been watching the first in the nation signal coming out of North Carolina. Give us the dirt.
Look, it's North Carolina, right? The state that is perpetually about to turn blue, but then hits a GOP-shaped wall. But yesterday, March 3rd, we saw the 2026 midterm cycle kick off with a massive high-stakes signal. The marquee matchup is set. We have an open Senate seat, thanks to Tom Tillis heading for the exits, and it's going to be a bloodbath.
It's the battle for the soul of the Senate, I'm telling you.
It's the battle for whether the Senate functions or becomes a MAGA clubhouse. We've got Roy Cooper, the Democratic governor who has won statewide 6 times, even when Trump took the state, going up against Michael Whatley.
Michael Whatley, the man handpicked by Trump to run the RNC, the ultimate loyalist.
Exactly. Whatley is basically the physical manifestation of the Trump endorsement. He's running on border security, fiscal restraint, and, well, loyalty. Total, unblinking loyalty. Meanwhile, Cooper is the dream recruit. He's the guy who expanded Medicaid in a red-leaning state. He's running on economic common sense.
Look, I gotta say, Roy Cooper is the real deal. I've seen him work a room. He's got that I'm your neighbor, but I'm also smarter than you vibe that North Carolinians love. But what about the House races? The gerrymandering there it's absurd.
Absurd. It's a surgical strike on democracy. Because of the new maps, Democrats are looking at losing at least 3 seats just through geography. Jeff Jackson's old seat, Kathy Manning's, they're being wiped off the map. It's a fascinating, terrifying preview of what's coming nationally. If Democrats can't hold the Senate seat in North Carolina, their path to 50 is, well, it's a cliff.
It's the front line. If Cooper wins, it's a repudiation of the Trumpified establishment. If Whatley wins, it's a mandate for the national security state to keep tightening the screws.
Right. And speaking of tightening screws, Julian, I know you've been salivating over this walk of shame thing in D.C.
Oh, John, it is gorgeous. It's the Jeffrey Epstein Walk of Shame, right in Farragut Square, steps from the White House. They've got these Hollywood-style stars for Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Elon Musk, and each one has a QR code.
Okay, but is it art or is it just a public shaming?
It's accountability. You scan the code and it takes you directly to DOJ files. According to the Daily Beast, the star for Elon Musk links to a 2012 email where Epstein asks how many people he's bringing to the island for the wildest party.
It's all so sordid. But while there are stickers on the sidewalk, there's a real civil war happening inside the Capitol. Nancy Mace is actually doing something?
Look, I'm the first to call Nancy Mace a performance artist, but she is triggering a privileged resolution to expose the cloak of secrecy around sexual harassment records in Congress. She wants the names, John. She wants the taxpayers to know who they've been paying to silence victims.
Well, even a broken clock is right twice a day when it's trying to burn down its own house. But Julian, my thing is this actually going to lead to anything, or is it just more performative masturbation, as I like to call it?
Oh, spare me the cynicism. This is how the black book gets opened. When someone like Mace starts kicking the pillars, the whole temple of corruption starts to shake. We're seeing Prince Andrew and Peter Mandelson getting arrested in the UK for misconduct in public office. The elite network is fraying, John. I can smell the fear from my penthouse.
Maybe. I just think we're replacing one set of monsters with another. Speaking of monsters, let's talk about the ones we can't see. The ones in our blood.
You mean the forever chemicals?
I mean the literal biological sabotage of the American male, Julian. A study in Frontiers in Aging just confirmed that PFAS, these forever chemicals found in everything from nonstick pans to dental floss, are literally speeding up the biological clock.
I mean, I feel like I've aged a decade in the last 4 years, but this is cellular, isn't it?
It's cellular. They used epigenetic clocks to measure DNA methylation. In men aged 50 to 64, high levels of PFNA and PFOSA were strong predictors of accelerated aging. You aren't just feeling old, Julian. Your cells are being dragged toward death faster by corporate negligence.
And let me guess, the American Chemistry Council says it's all fine.
Of course, they called the study exploratory and used the old correlation isn't causation defense. But these chemicals are in 95% of the participants. We are living in a plastic soup, and it's linked to dementia and heart disease.
It is absurd. We're being poisoned for the sake of convenient cookware. This is the systemic prioritization of profit over public safety.
Exactly. And look, speaking of things that keep the lights on, let's take a quick second here.
Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media.
He's not a media conglomerate. He's a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Solidarity, people. It's the only thing the corporations can't buy.
Well, they're certainly trying to buy everything else. Julian, let's talk about the poverty to prison loop. You've been looking at the housing crisis.
It's a nightmare, John. We are witnessing the criminalization of survival. According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, we have over 771,000 people on the streets. That's an 18% jump. And instead of building houses, we're building jail cells.
It's the Grants Pass versus Johnson. The Supreme Court basically gave cities a green light to treat poverty as a crime.
Look, the data is staggering. In Albuquerque, jail bookings for the unhoused have tripled. Nearly 50% of the county jail bookings are now transients. And in Oregon, this is the kicker, John, the judicial system is literally collapsing.
They're dismissing cases because they don't have public defenders?
Over 1,400 cases. The Oregon Supreme Court had to step in because they only have a third of the attorneys they need. We have a right to counsel in this country that is currently a total fiction.
It's legislative constipation at its finest. We pass laws to arrest people for being poor, but we won't fund the system to actually process them fairly. It's a national edging session where the only people getting finished are the private prison contractors.
It's a shakedown, and it's not just the poor. Even the progressive leaders in blue states are under fire. You saw what's happening with Tim Walz.
Oh, the congressional testimony circus. Walz and Keith Ellison are testifying today because James Comer, of course it's Comer, claims they knew about a Feeding Our Future fraud back in 2019.
They're introducing impeachment articles in Minnesota for a fraud case. It's a political weaponization of oversight.
It's the failed leadership narrative. They want to justify a federal intervention, what they're calling Operation Metro Surge. They want ICE and the DHS to take over Minneapolis because the locals can't handle it.
Oh, look, this leads us right into the surveillance state. Kristi Noem was in front of the Senate yesterday defending what I call the surveillance surge. She's something else. She's defending ICE's transition into a technological dragnet. They're not just looking for people, they're monitoring whole neighborhoods. They're using Paralink to track cell phones without warrants. Every phone on a city block. It's a shakedown of our constitutional rights.
And they've got Paragon now, foreign spyware that lets them into your encrypted messages. Noem basically said it's necessary for mass deportation. She treats the Fourth Amendment like a suggestion in a dusty old book.
I'm telling you, it's a rogue paramilitary force. They're using Mobile Fortify for real-time facial recognition. If you're at a protest, they know who you are before you even hold up a sign.
It's the Authoritarian Stack, and look at how it intersects with the corporate world. Trump is literally threatening Wall Street to get his crypto agenda through.
Oh, I love this. Trump on Truth Social telling the banks to stop blocking crypto or face consequences. He wants the Clarity Act passed so he can strip the SEC of power.
He wants the CFTC, which is way more industry friendly, to have exclusive jurisdiction. It's a handout to the $2 trillion crypto market disguised as national security.
He's framing Jamie Dimon as the enemy of the people. It's classic populist theater. But meanwhile, they're blacklisting companies like Anthropic because they wouldn't lift ethical safeguards on AI.
They want AI for autonomous targeting. If you won't let your AI be a weapon, you don't get to play in the American sandbox. It's the privatization of power, Julian. Even NASA is being term limited so industry insiders can take over the moon missions.
It is absurd. We're privatizing the moon, we're weaponizing AI, and we're surveilling the suburbs. But none of it compares to the assault on the human body that is happening right now in Louisiana.
This is the big one. This is the medical backslide that could change everything.
Judge David Joseph, Trump appointee in Lafayette. He is weighing an injunction right now, Louisiana et al. Versus the FDA, that could effectively ban the mailing of abortion pills nationwide.
Not just in red states?
Everywhere, John, even in your sanctuary in the Catskills. If he grants this injunction, he's overturning the 2023 FDA rule that allowed telehealth prescriptions.
30% of all abortions in the U.S. were through telehealth last year. If people have to go to a certified hospital in person, that's not just a barrier, that's an end run around legality.
It's a coordinated strategy. They're linking the restriction of reproductive rights with the elimination of gender-affirming care. They want a federal ban on telehealth, period.
But New York is fighting back, right? Letitia James?
Letitia is a warrior. She's leveraging state anti-discrimination laws to protect residents from federal funding threats. She's telling the Trump administration, not in my state.
But look, The logic of the Louisiana case, this idea that the FDA overstepped, it's the same logic they use for everything else we've talked about today. They want to dismantle the administrative state's ability to protect you, but they want to keep the state's ability to watch you and arrest you.
It's the National Handmaid's Plan. They want control over the biological clock and the reproductive cycle. It's not about life, John. It's about authority.
It's biological control. If you control the chemicals in the water, the surveillance on the street, and the medicine in the mail, what do you have left?
You have a subject, not a citizen.
Well, look, on that cheery note, maybe I should go check on Mitch.
Tell Mitch that we're still here, John, and we aren't going anywhere.
We're here. For now.
Look, I gotta say, even with the forever chemicals and the surveillance dragnets, there is a path forward. North Carolina shows us that there is a fight to be had. Roy Cooper versus Michael Whatley, that is the referendum on the future.
Let's hope common sense is as common as we think it is.
It is, I'm telling you. This has been the Neural Left. Stay sharp, stay angry, and for the love of democracy, scan those QR codes.
Or just feed your goat. That works too.
Good night, America. We'll see you tomorrow.